Hey, all right, y'all. So I feel like every time I talk to y'all, my lighting is always bad. So I have clothes on. It's just clearly you can't see it, and I'm holding my phone with my hand. So yeah, but anyways, I wanted to make a video for you guys about this pregnancy because I tried to do updates. I kind of started a little bit late because I didn't reveal that I was pregnant to everybody or like social media until I was like almost pretty much halfway through. I think I revealed I was pregnant once I was like 5 months pregnant, and I had him. Anyways, I revealed it late, so I really couldn't update you guys throughout. Plus, the videos that I did make, I didn't have enough space on my phone, so I wasn't able to upload the videos from the app because I didn't have enough space on my phone as far as storage. So yeah, so I'm just pretty much gonna do this video like how I did my first pregnancy video and just talk about the whole pregnancy, talk about the things that I've been going through, just to give you guys a heads up or something to look out for. I will be making a video on like tips and things that help me as far as breastfeeding, because with my son, I am breastfeeding only as of right now, and I'm really going to try and stick to it. I want to, at least for the first year, only give him breast milk. I don't want to go to formula. I have formula for a backup just in case if something happens, or you know, I have to start taking a certain medicine or just whatever. It's just for backup, but I really don't want to use it at all. So yeah, now that we got that out the way, let's get into this video. So to start, y'all already know my health conditions. Y'all know I have preeclampsia because I believe I did upload one video updating you guys, but I think that was it. So my type 1 diabetes, I've had that for about 15 years. In May it'll be 15 years. Then I had preeclampsia. I didn't have preeclampsia, but I was getting closer as far as my blood pressures. My blood pressures were elevating. So I ended up having him at 36 weeks pregnant. His birthday is March 15th, 2022. I don't know what that is as far as like Sagittarius, Aquarius, I don't know. So I'm not good with that stuff. I'm not good with astrology and all that stuff. But yeah, so it was a scheduled C-section. So it was planned with my daughter. As you guys know, it was an emergency C-section. With him, it was planned. So I had to, the night before, I had to wipe off with these like sticky wipes. So I had to take a shower. An hour after the shower, I had to wipe off my whole body with the wipes, especially like my pelvis, vagina area, not the inside, just the top, where they were gonna cut. This was pretty much to prevent like bacteria from forming or growing, whatever you want to say, and prevent infections like skin infections. So I had to do that the night before, and I had to do that the morning of. It was like a CGH wipe. I believe that's what the name of it was. If I have a picture, if I have the video, because I posted a video on my TikTok. If you want to go see that, if you want to follow me on TikTok, there's my @ go ahead and follow your girl. But yeah, so I couldn't eat the night before. At 12 o'clock, I had to stop eating, which I was really nervous about that because my blood sugar had been dropping and I had been having lows. So I'm like, dang, if I have a low, I'm gonna have to eat something, because if I don't, I'm gonna pass out, clearly. And everything was smooth sailing that morning. I had to be to the hospital by, what time did I have to be to the hospital? 10, I believe, because I was supposed to go in for my C-section at like 12. Yeah, was supposed to go in for my C-section at 12, so I had to be to the hospital at 10. Got there on time. I ended up not having the baby until about 3-4 o'clock. Let me just tell you, I had a whole anxiety attack as far as the epidural went. I had an epidural with my daughter, with her, I didn't have an anxiety attack. This time I had a full-blown anxiety attack because I thought that my boyfriend would be able to be in the room while I was getting this epidural. So in my head, I already had a picture like, okay, he's going to be in the room, so he's going to be able to help me out and like hold my hand and just keep me calm. No, that's not what happened. So I just started freaking out. I kind of started tearing up. Not like freaking out. I was having an anxiety attack, but it was more, I started crying. Just like my breathing got really like in my head. I'm just like, I closed my eyes because I was just trying to calm myself down mentally because I don't know why I was so scared. And it wasn't even that bad. Epidurals, it depends on your pain tolerance. Because I have a whole spine tattoo and a tramp stamp. So for me, it wasn't that bad. Let me go get this blanket. This boy does not like it when a blanket is covering him. Okay. So yeah, it wasn't even that bad, but like I said, I had a full-blown anxiety attack. With the C-section, if you guys know this, you are awake when they do a C-section. They pretty much just put like a clear curtain up. It's kind of like the clear shower curtains that you have in the bathroom. They put that up and they put a sheet over it so that you can't actually see anything that's going on. To me, a C-section is pretty quick. The most part is like the longest part is like getting set up, you know, the anesthesia, the doctors have to clean off and everything, set everything up. That's the longest part, but once they actually start doing the actual procedure, it doesn't take that long. I started having anxiety. I had another anxiety attack while they were cutting me open because I was just so afraid. Luckily, my boyfriend was not afraid, but just like overwhelmed, so nervous, just scared because I knew like with Emory, I had these health complications. I naturally just have health complications. So just this procedure, I was just super anxious about. And then they were already telling me that I might have to have a blood transfusion during the procedure and just all these things. So it was just super like nerve-wracking for me. So I had another anxiety attack while they were cutting me open. Like I said, luckily my boyfriend was there, so he just kind of held my hand, just told me to calm down because I was boohoo crying at this point because I was so nervous. Like even now I'm starting to get teary-eyed because it was just so overwhelming for me. But once they handed me my son, I calmed down. Everything was good. So let me just tell y'all. With Emory, if y'all watch the video, y'all know. If you haven't watched the video, I'm gonna link it either up here in this video, or I'm gonna put it down below in the description box. And you need to go watch it so that you know what I'm talking about. But with Emory, most of my my problems as far as pregnancy were during the pregnancy. With him, my problems came afterwards. So once he was born, he had to go to the NICU because he was having sorry, I was trying to see if he was going to keep the blanket over his face. He doesn't like it when the blanket's covering his hands. So he's moving his hands, trying to get the blanket off of them, but he's covering his face also in this process. That's him. Disclaimer, he grunts a lot while he's sleeping and makes a lot of noises. So that's him in the background. But So once he was born, he had to go to the NICU because he had breathing problems. He ended up having Brady's, which is pretty much where your heart rate will drop. And with him, they were random. Most of them were when he was sleeping, and they would be random. His heart rate would drop, and then he would bring it back up. And we wouldn't have to touch him. We wouldn't have to shake him. When he first was born, I think they had to like touch him once, but after that, they didn't have to touch him. They didn't have to like pick him up, anything. He would just get his heart rate to go back up. He ended up having jaundice. They ended up having to cut his placenta or umbilical cord, whatever that thing is that's on the belly button. They ended up having to cut that because they had to do a procedure where they went through his belly button to get blood because they couldn't get an IV, and like they couldn't get an IV on his body wherever they put it. I don't know where. For the first like day or two, he was not getting bottles. He was getting food or liquid through an IV. It was really like, this was rough for me. With Emery, I did have, I had meltdowns, but it was more so because I just wanted her to be out of NICU. With Emery, she was in the NICU because of her jaundice. With him, it was the jaundice, the breathing, the random heart rate drops. So it started, especially that first time once the medicine wore off and I was able to get up and walk. That first time I went to see him in the NICU, he just had all these tubes in him. They told me he wasn't eating, like he wasn't able to get a bottle because he needed to focus on breathing. And when you're trying to suck and breathe, it's a lot to focus on, trying to correlate the two and get them to go together. So it was just a lot for me to see him with the tubes in his mouth, with all these. It was just a lot. I'm getting teary-eyed again just thinking about it because I hated that. I hated that. But I'm grateful. I'm thankful because it could have been way worse. It could have been way worse. There are people out there that deal with way worse, that are in way worse situations. And I try to think of it like that, but it's still like, that's my baby. Like, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see their child. This man, let me just take the blanket off of his hands because he just got his stuff going on. But yeah, nobody wants to see their child with all these wires and tubes and down their throat, and nobody wants to see that. So it was still hard for me. But so that he was in the NICU for like a week and a half. I ended up staying in the hospital afterwards, for a week and a day. Because, of course, like I said, afterwards, I started producing all these health problems. So I personally didn't know that you could still get preeclampsia once after pregnancy, after birth. I didn't know that. I just figured, okay, the baby's out of me. The baby's out of you. So, like, your blood sugar shouldn't be going up. Or not blood sugars. Your blood pressure shouldn't be going up because the baby's out of you. Like, what is going on? Clearly, I was wrong. I developed preeclampsia after giving birth to this. So my feet were swollen, like super tight. My legs were a little swollen, but not really. It was mainly my feet and my ankles. Like, if I have a picture, or if I can find the video, I'm gonna insert it here. Like I said, most of my stuff is on TikTok, because I once I did give birth, I started like making videos, so you guys can see that on my TikTok. But yeah, so I developed preeclampsia because my blood pressures were so high, like 175 over 120, like high. So I ended up having to get magnesium. I had a whole anxiety attack, like, and when I say this last anxiety attack, when I had to go, so let me just tell you. So after I gave birth, they put me in a room. Once I had to go get magnesium because of the preeclampsia, I had to be transferred to a different room because the area that I was in, weren't able to give me magnesium, or they didn't have it. So I was transferred to a different room. So this is my second room. And they told me I was going to be staying in this room. I started having an anxiety attack because by this point it was like the third or fourth day of me being in the hospital after giving birth. So this was the third or fourth day. I want to say either the day before I got the magnesium or 2 days before I got the magnesium, I had to get a blood transfusion because my hemoglobin was so low. So I ended up having to get a blood transfusion. So I had to sit down for 4 hours and get blood through an IV. Once again, I will insert the video right here, but it is also on my TikTok. So I had to do blood transfusion, then turn around. I'm having magnesium. My son's in the NICU. I don't want to be in the hospital. My feet are swollen. I have stitches in me, and I was by myself. So at this point, I was having an anxiety attack. But when I say an anxiety attack, usually when I have an anxiety attack, like I will start breathing heavy. Sometimes my head will start hurt. Of course, my head starts hurting because I'm like, my body just did so much. But usually I just start breathing heavy. I cry a lot. And yeah. But with this time, I stopped breathing. Like, I got so worked up and just so much was built up, I stopped breathing. Like, there was a nurse and there was a doctor in the room. I keep getting teary-eyed because just, But there was a nurse and a doctor in the room, and I forgot what she was explaining to me. But she was explaining something to me, and I just started crying because it was like all this stuff. There was other stuff too, but I'm not going to talk about that other stuff in the video because it's just too much and it's personal stuff. So, but that personal stuff was like heavy. And then, like I said, I just had a blood transfusion. Now I have to get magnesium, all this stuff. So it was literally like she was explaining something to me, and I just started, like, I tried to hold back my tears, couldn't hold back my tears. And she, of course, like, with nurses and doctors, like, once they see that, they try and comfort you. So the doctor came closer to me, and she's like, no, like, what's wrong? Like, don't worry, da da da, like, it's okay. She's like rubbing my arm, trying to comfort me. And it just made it worse. And I just start boohoo crying. I'm boohoo crying, but I'm still trying to hold back my tears. So I'm like crying really hard, but I'm trying not to cry really hard. And then it was just like, I just stopped breathing. And once that happened, I got even more scared because I literally like was struggling to catch my breath. And I got super scared and like started squeezing her hand because I was so scared because I could not catch my breath. and she was like, just relax, and they ended up having to give me anxiety medicine. So I got magnesium and I got anxiety medicine. So after this, they transferred me to a different room. So this is the third room that I've been in. Once they transferred me to the third room, and mind you, the magnesium, of course, is supposed to help my blood pressures come down. I had a headache for like 3-4 days. I had a headache majority of the time for that week after I gave birth. I want to say out of the 8 days, I had a headache for like 5 of them. And it wasn't like, it was a migraine. Like, it was horrible. And the only thing, like before, when I used to get migraines, the only thing that would help me was Excedrin. But they didn't have Excedrin, and I guess they weren't allowed to give it to me. So it was just a lot. But after I got this magnesium, my blood pressures were still crazy high. So I'm like, okay, I just did this magnesium. My blood pressures aren't dropping. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, what the fuck? So they ended up increasing my blood pressure medicines. I was taking medicine like every 3 hours. Like, it was a ridiculous amount. Like, it was ridiculous. But, and then when they transferred me to the third room, they ended up leaving my toiletry bag in the first room. And then once they finally did give me my toiletry bag, there was stuff that was missing from it, like my deodorant, my body wash, my face wash, my face moisturizer. Luckily, my boyfriend's stuff was still in the bag. So his body wash, his deodorant, so I had to use all his stuff. They forgot my mouthwash. Like, it was a bunch of stuff that they left of mine in that room. So I was irritated with that. I ended up running out of clothes because I packed like 4 outfits. Yeah, I packed 4 outfits to take to the hospital with me, because I knew with Emery, I stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks. But with him, I wasn't expecting to stay that long. I was only expecting to stay like 3 days. So I'm like, okay, I'll pack 4 outfits. No, I ended up running out of outfits. Had to hand wash one of my dresses in the sink and freaking lay it out on the bed that was next to me, because nobody was in the room with me, and let it air dry. Like, it was real bootleg. But yeah, it was an experience. But I've come to the realization that with all my pregnancies, and let me tell you, this is a big if. Like, I was debating on just telling them while I was on that table, go ahead and tie my tubes up, because what? Like, if I decide to have any more kids, I'm only having one more if I do have any more. It's only gonna be one. And like I said, if. But I've come to the realization that I'm just gonna have complications with my pregnancies. It's just gonna happen. So, but yeah, so that was my pregnancy journey. Right now it's been about 3 weeks. He's doing good. He's doing perfect. He's 9 pounds now. When he was born, he was 8 pounds 6 ounces. Then when they took him to the NICU, he dropped down to 8 pounds. He dropped down to 8 pounds 4 ounces. He was 8 pounds and 6 ounces when he was born. When he got to the NICU, he dropped down to 8 pounds 4 ounces. Then he dropped down to 8 pounds. Now, as of yesterday, he's up to 9 pounds. So but he still looks super small. Like, if y'all see this man, he does not look like he's 9 pounds. He's super small. But everything's been good. I have had my moments, definitely. I suffer from depression in general, and I have anxiety clearly. With Emery, I had postpartum depression. So with him, I was kind of scared about that, and like, I don't want to go through that. I've definitely had my moments, but I feel like overall it's been good. I've been in a good headspace. I'm just happy that he's finally here and I get to love on him and just hug him and hold him and just be the best mother I can be. It's just super exciting. His sister cannot get enough of him. His sister is obsessed. You would think that this was her child. Like, you can't tell her nothing. But like I told y'all in the beginning, expect some videos on breastfeeding, and then I think I'm gonna be vulnerable and do a video on just like my mental health personally, and just how I feel about mental health. But I don't know, because like I said, that would be a very vulnerable moment for me, and very like, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. My phone is also about to die, so I can't really talk too much more. So love you guys. Thanks for watching the video, and yeah.